So, Unit 5, linear relations. I forgot to put the name and block spot on there, so do that up top here. Toss your name on this thing so that when you leave it, should you hide it in here, I know who to get it back to. Should you forget it, I can return it to you. I have made a few extra copies of this book, but, you know, I don't want to continue to hand out 15, 20 extra copies like I've been doing. Name, block, you guys are A. And let's give her. Flip the page when you're ready. Okay. Graphing. This whole unit is a look at linear relations, which, believe it or not, you've already kind of done. The test you just wrote me were all forms of linear relations, but when we call them linear relations, that language implies lines, and so it's hard to see without actually drawing these things what they look like. So this whole unit that's coming up here is all about graphing. So basics of graphs. You guys have done this before, yes? You've seen graphs in middle school. This thing has a name. Does anyone know what this is called? Nobody remembers what this is called? Sorry? What do you remember at all? Anything about graphing? What do you remember? There's a y and an x-axis. Do you remember which is which? Okay, and horizontal means, for those of us, horizontal is left and right. So this guy down here is your x-axis. It's the line that moves left, right. Your y-axis is your vertical axis, moves up and down. So this is sideways, or we can draw it in here. This one's this way. And this is a two-dimensional grid. It's easy enough to add 3 dimensions if we really wanted to, but we don't have to. And the photocopier didn't do a great job, but there's a grid there in the background. This thing has a name. Nobody remembers the name of this thing? Starts with a C. No. Yeah, you were supposed to come get one. I told everyone to come get one, so if you don't have one, you didn't come get one. Yes, Matthias. Yes. Okay, this thing has a name, and it's called the Cartesian plane. It's called a plane. A plane in math is a two-dimensional surface. This is 2 dimensions. It has an up and down dimension and a left and right dimension. This is called the Cartesian plane because there are different systems for talking about where you are in space. Cartesian shares a root word with a science. Does anyone know what science is related to the Cartesian plane? It starts the same way. Okay, hands up if you've ever played Halo 1. Okay, the best level in Halo 1, it's the one that came out with the demo. It's level 2 or level 3, is called what, Lucas? You don't remember? You land on the island, and you're looking for something. It has a name. See, this reference gets fewer and fewer people every year, because Halo 1 was a really long time ago. Okay, there is a science related to this grid. Starts with cart. Nobody? Okay. You've heard of this word cartography? Anyone hands up, you've heard this word cartography before? No? The level, Lucas, was called the silent cartographer. And you're looking for a map. Cartography is the science of map making or mapping. and the Cartesian plane, they share the same root word. In fact, the root word is a guy. It's the guy's last name. All of the Cartesian plane, the science of map making, all founded by the same dude, or if not founded by, heavily influenced by the same dude. Nobody knows last name Cart. Nobody. Sean. Jacob, yeah? No. Hassan Joe? No. We heard of this guy? Anybody? This is not a name? No. Okay, he's the guy who said, I think, therefore I am. He was a philosopher, he was a mathematician, no, okay, never mind. He developed the Cartesian plane for mapping because this was back in the day where there were no maps. The world needed to be mapped, and so he developed this system of X and Y grid system to help people identify where they were. Where the X and Y axis cross over is called what? So like X and Y meet right there. That point has a name. What's it called? Yeah, someone just said it. Say it louder. The origin. That's that guy right there. Where the X and Y axis meet, that's called the origin. Origin, that word, means what out of this context? You're looking for the origin of something. That is, what does that word mean? Yes, Justice, I see that hand. You don't know the word origin? Okay. Nobody? Nobody can tell me what the word origin means. What does the word origin mean? Yes. We're Googling things? Yeah, I love it. If we are, I'm okay with that. The origin is where something comes from. Or something comes from. And so the origin, you can think of it as the beginning. If this point right here where the X and Y axis cross, if that's the beginning of something, that thing, the beginning, has a particular label or a coordinate. Does anyone know what that coordinate is? Yes. 0, 0. Everything starts there and then gets labeled from that point. Do. Everything gets labeled relative to this 0, 0. You betcha. From the origin, as you move left or down, so if you go this way or that way, left on the x-axis or down on the y-axis, means that your numbers are becoming more negative. So left, you got your -1, -2, -3. Down, -1, -2, -3. And then as you move right or up, that way or that way, this is positive. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Right and up is positive, left and down is negative. Similar to the number lines we've used before. You've seen all this stuff before, yes? This should just be, hopefully this is a review of stuff that's come before. This part might not be. When you throw a grid system down here, I've got my, again, I'll label my X's and Y's every time. X is left and right, Y is up and down. When you throw these two lines down on the page, you break this thing up into 4 sections, or when there's 4 of them, we call them quadrants. Quad means 4. And throwing 2 axes down breaks the plane, the 2D surface that we're working on, up into 4 chunks. Quadrant 1 starts in the top right corner and you move counterclockwise, or against the way the clock goes around the circle. So this guy here, top right, we call quadrant 1. And in quadrant 1, X's and Y's are both what? Positive. So when we look at the grid system or the coordinate system, which one comes first? This thing right here is called a coordinate. something, comma, something, which one gets listed first, X or Y? So X gets listed first. So this gets listed X, Y, and in the quadrant 1, X is positive, Y is positive. We go counterclockwise left, so this guy is quadrant 2. X is positive or negative in quadrant 2? Someone said negative, you're correct. How about Y? You betcha. There's someone say positive. Below quadrant 2, we've got quadrant 3. In this area, X is? Yeah, and X is negative, and Y is? Negative, good. And then this last guy here is quadrant 4. So we march our way around the circle. Over here, X is, and Y is negative. Cool. When you're ready, flip the page. This thing that we've already kind of used is called an ordered pair. It's also called a coordinate. Coordinate. And it tells you where you are. Hassan Jot's already said it. An ordered pair or a coordinate has ordered pairs. This should be an S here. There's a typo, my bad. Have two numbers that are separated by a comma inside those brackets. They go X, then Y. And it tells you where you are on the grid. In this unit, we're going to work with linear relationships. And in linear relationships, ordered pairs show the relationship between X and Y. When X is this value, Y is another corresponding value. So something X is going to be related to something Y. And we can start giving these things context. We can talk about how time traveled is related to distance traveled, or how hours worked is related to the amount of money earned. In graphing, ordered pairs indicate the location of a point. Again, X comma Y. I'm going to really hound this X comma Y thing because, yeah, it takes a lot for students to remember that. So the first number is the x-axis, and if you recall, x-axis goes left-right. The y-axis goes up-down. So when we label these locations, point A is where? Well, the x gets labeled first. So to figure out where point A is, we start at the origin and we have to go over how far to get there. 4 which way, left or right? Left, so that's negative. So point A is going to be at -4, and the y location is? -3, cool. And that quadrant is which one? That's quadrant 3, cool. Point B is the point what? What are the coordinates of point B? Yeah, so 1, 1, good. 1 in the x and 1 in the y, and that's quadrant 1 as well, cool. Point C is down here where? What are the coordinates of point C? 6, -7, good, and that's quadrant number what? Love it. And point D is, what are the coordinates there? No, hold on, stop. It's not 8, -8, it's -8, +8. And that's quadrant 3. Your homework today. You do have homework, that's it. It's just a review on this. Page 3 and 4. That's what I want you to do for homework. Review your graphing. Have a super duper day. I'll see you tomorrow. This page and the next one.